Your brain is smaller than it should be. Not because of genetics, not because of age. Because 50 years ago, a group of men in Washington, D.C. made a decision, not based on science, not based on data, based on politics. And your neurons have been paying the price ever since. What if the one thing proven to rebuild your brain was the exact thing they made a federal crime to touch? Think about what depression actually does to a brain. It doesn't just change your mood, it physically shrinks the prefrontal cortex. It snaps neural connections. It makes the brain rigid, locked in loops it cannot escape. Doctors have known this for decades. So what did they give you? SSRIs. Pills you take every single day. Pills with a 40% failure rate. Pills that don't rebuild anything, they just muffle the alarm while the house keeps burning. Meanwhile, in labs in London, in San Francisco, in Switzerland, scientists were watching something else happen entirely. Something the textbooks weren't allowed to include. Something that was making brains grow. In May 2026, Nature Communications published what might be the most important brain study in 50 years. 28 healthy subjects, one 25 milligram dose of Psilocybin. 1 month later, their brains had physically changed. Not mood, not feelings. Structure. Neural tracts, the white matter highways your thoughts travel on, were measurably denser, more connected, more resilient. Researchers called it increased neuroplasticity. What that actually means is, the brain got better at being a brain. But it doesn't stop there. A separate mega-analysis, 267 subjects, 5 different psychedelics, researchers across 12 countries, found that every single compound produced the same brain signature. LSD, DMT, Mescaline, Ayahuasca, Psilocybin. All of them synchronized brain networks that are normally walled off from each other. Sensory regions talking to abstract thought regions. Networks that depression severs, suddenly reconnecting. And here is the part they will never say on the evening news. The intensity of the experience, the chaos, the visuals, the dissolution of self, that wasn't a side effect they were managing. That was the medicine. Higher entropy in the brain during the trip directly predicted better long-term outcomes. The trip is the cure. They knew this was possible. The data existed, and they buried it for half a century. Go back to 1970. Nixon signs the Controlled Substances Act. Psilocybin gets Schedule I, same category as heroin. No accepted medical use. High potential for abuse. John A. Ehrlichman, Nixon's own domestic policy advisor, later admitted it openly. The war on drugs was designed to target political enemies. Not to protect public health, political enemies. So while millions of people cycled through antidepressants that didn't work, through hospitalizations, through decades of suffering, the research sat in locked drawers. The brains that could have been rebuilt weren't. The connections that could have been restored stayed severed. That was not an accident. That was a choice someone made for you. The most effective brain repair tool ever documented wasn't developed in a pharmaceutical lab. It grew in the ground. It's been used for 10,000 years. And your government spent 50 years making it a crime to let you near it. If that makes you angry, good. Subscribe, we're just getting started.